Why don't we get into our rapid fire questions real quick?
Let's do it.
Now, these aren't up for debate, unless Justin, do you have something?
No.
Oh, okay. These aren't up for debate. We're not going to debate the answers. You have 15 seconds to answer this question. So we'll go around the table. I'll give you the question, and you can give me an answer. Half the time, you can probably say just yes or no, and we can move on. But if you want to expound on any of it, you've got 15 seconds. Otherwise, I'm going to buzz you, or Justin's going to get pissed because he needs to go to bed.
Gotta piss, man. Gotta piss.
Oh, you got to piss. So we got to get through these 7 quick. All right. So starting with you, Giovanni, do you think there will be an actual true quarterback competition for the starting QB in spring?
No, I see Thompson. He's too experienced. Purdy's barely played. He's had several injuries. I think Thompson will be the starter.
All right. Justin?
No, I don't think there's going to be a quarterback competition at all. I think, we've done a good job at getting guys here, but I think that job was promised to Casey Thompson, and the way that he's coming here and taking the leadership as he has, he knows it's going to be him.
Oh, you just got in under the buzzer, dude.
That's what she
Tyler,
said.
what do you think? Yeah.
No, I'm with you guys. I don't. The only caveat to that is I know Casey Thompson has been injured, pending injury and health. But no, I think he is the starter. I think that the coaches will play it up. The coaches will play up a competition, but I don't think there ever will be a real one.
All right, Derek.
I think yes. I think there will be. I think Casey Thompson probably has a leg up on everybody, but yes, I think there will be competition.
All right, Scott.
Yeah, I think there will be competition, just like Derek said. Thompson definitely has a leg up on the other guys, but if anything, there's going to be a competition for that number 2 spot, because I think that if Logan Smothers is a fighter, like he's obviously been and has been in the program for a little while, I think that he's going to fight tooth and claw to get that number 2 position.
That wasn't the question, Scott. The Scott was for starting quarterback.
I know, but if Thompson doesn't pan out,
So just say no. There's no question.
I just feel like they have to win. They need to win now. I've seen Ken tweet that they need to start off 4-2, and Thompson gives you the best chance. You can't have growing pains with Purdy. He just hasn't played enough.
I get you. I think there's going to be a true competition for the backup role because I think Thompson's going to be the starter. So that's my spot. That's what I say. Question number 2, and I kind of alluded to this in my answer to the first point going into spring camp. Can Logan Smothers find a fit in the Mark Whipple offense? Now, take note, it doesn't say find a fit at quarterback. It just says find a fit. Do you think there's something Logan Smothers can do in the Mark Whipple offense? Go ahead there, Gio.
No, not with the amount of running backs brought in this class. So I don't see where else he can play. He wasn't athletic enough wide receiver-wise. He didn't stand out like Luke McCaffrey. Luke McCaffrey could have easily played receiver, but Smothers, no. I don't see it. There's just too many numbers of running back. I don't see what else he can do.
All right, Justin.
I think Logan Smothers is the only person at quarterback on the roster right now that could give Casey Thompson a run for their money. And he would have to be able to perform big time in the spring to upset Casey Thompson. But, he's been under Frost for a couple years now. He knows what's expected out of Frost and what the team and all that the team culture is. He's the only guy. We'll see how that works out. But I'm going to say yes.
Just snuck under the buzzer.
He's a talker. Yeah, yes, he does, and yes, it's that quarterback. I mean, I think that he obviously is the guy that you look at from a fit, but I think talent is talent, and I think that Whipple is going to recognize it. And let's not pretend like he isn't Logan Smothers. He isn't Luke McCaffrey. I mean, he is a better passer than Luke McCaffrey was. I think that he is a real threat in the quarterback room for that backup spot.
Alrighty.
I agree. I think he's absolutely got a spot for a quarterback. Everybody forgets Kenny Pickett was recruited to play as a running quarterback, and he came in and did what he did. So I think with Mark Whipple as his quarterback, I think absolutely he can find a spot to do something.
All right, Scott.
Yeah, I think he could absolutely be a good piece to the Whipple puzzle. I think if there's anything Whipple can do, he can coach him with better throwing mechanics and maybe tap into his psyche a little bit better to make better decisions. And if anything, he could be like a Swiss Army knife type thing where Whipple can use him with like 200 IQ and throw him in there with another quarterback and do the double quarterback type situation just to really mess with the defense and keep them on their toes.
Yeah, I'm with all of you guys. I think Logan Smothers is going to give Purdy all he wants when it comes to competing for the backup spot. I really do. I think he's going to be, because you know what? Casey Thompson was a dual threat quarterback when he was recruited out of high school. He played the option in high school. So what was Purdy? He was the 6th rated dual quarterback coming out of high school. So I don't think Whipple recruited those guys just to stand in a pocket and throw. I think he recruited them because he knows they're athletic, just like Logan Smothers is. So I think he fits, and I think he challenges pretty hard for that backup spot. Question number 3, what position group is your biggest concern headed into spring camp? Go ahead, Gio.
Offensive line. Has to be offensive line. Center. I just wanted to see at least one new incoming transfer start. Just the unit, they may be good individually, but as a unit, they've really struggled. There's always, it seems like almost every play, one or two offensive linemen are struggling. So it's O-line.
You did good, Justin.
Yeah, the correct and only answer to this question is offensive line. The offensive line was a pile of shit last year, and it's not going to we all need to see it a lot better. We got to see how these transfers are going to come in and maybe impact that. The injuries are going to hurt, like we said, but yeah, that's the biggest concern.
Tyler?
O-line.
Derek?
O-line.
Repeat. Yeah, Scott, repeat.
Yep.
Me too, O-line. O-line followed very, very closely by defensive line, but O-line is definitely the biggest concern. This is a great question, and it's going to be really hard for you to come up with an answer in 15 seconds, but who will emerge as the number 1 punt returner? All I can say is thank God that Cam Taylor-Britt's gone. Go ahead, Gio.
I'll still go with Palmer. He just has more experience. I'll go with him. I don't think there's anyone else we have that we should at least start off returning punts.
All right. Go ahead, Justin.
I agree. It has to be Palmer. It's going to be the biggest kick in the nuts next year if it's going to be somebody that was already on the roster last year that comes in to return punts. It has to be a newcomer. It has to be Trey Palmer.
Yep. Tyler, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I really want to say Oliver Martin, but I'm going to go with Trey Palmer. I think he edges out Oliver
I will kick you in the nuts, Tyler.
Edges out Oliver Martin. Oh, the Santino Panico of 2022. Go ahead, Derek.
There will be riots in Nebraska if Trey Palmer is not the returner on punts. I mean, people would be pissed.
My God, what if he's not, Derek?
There will be riots. I'm telling you right now.
We'll meet in
downtown
with some riots.
You will see the fans leave the stands and tackle whoever the hell's fair catching that punt.
Oliver Martin comes in. Oh my God.
Yeah. Scott, I'm guessing you've got the same answer.
Oh yeah. Trey Palmer, hands down. I agree. If we don't see him out there with the first punt return, it's gonna be odd. But I mean, it would be pretty. It'd be pretty neat if Oliver Martin took one to the house just right away. So everyone's like, "What are we doing?" And then we get a touchdown, and it's like, "Okay, that's fine."
It's amazing what would change if we actually blocked on a punt return. Maybe things would look different.
Do you think the staff knows that that's an option this year?
What, punt returning a touchdown?
No, like blocking.
Blocking's a good option. Yeah. And I'm gonna go with you guys. I was gonna say Malcolm Hartzog just to be a jerk, but Yeah, it's definitely going to be Trey Palmer. They didn't recruit him to just play slot. They knew what they had in him. Mickey knows what he's got in him. He's got all that wiggle you want for a punt returner, and he's fearless. So, yeah, definitely Trey Palmer. Question 5, who is the under-the-radar guy that will get the most buzz on offense this spring? Is there somebody under the radar that you didn't see coming that's going to get some buzz? What do you think, Gio?
Who's on the roster or who's coming in?
Either or, coming in or on the roster.
We've mentioned at least the starters. I'll just go with Garcia. I didn't mention him in my top 3. It looks like he fits right in, at least in the slot. Looks like he can get open, short yardage. Whipple likes to throw quick passes, very quick, short passes, underneath passes, and he fits that mold at least.
Okay. Yep. How about you, Justin?
My under the radar guy is going to be tight end James Carney. With Travis Vokalek out this year, I think some of these younger guys are going to have a lot of chances to make a name for themselves. I think a lot of these, you're going to hear James Carney making some plays in some post-practice reports. So that's my guy.
James Carney. Vokalek's out for the year, or is it just the spring?
Well, he's out for the spring.
Okay. Okay. Tyler, what do you think?
I'm going to go Latrell Neville. He was a guy that I was really high in coming out of high school. I think there's a lot of wide receiver names. I'm really excited to see what happens when Mickey Joseph gets his hands on him. I mean, he is the second tallest wide receiver on the roster. I think that he really can come in and compete. From Texas, I'm really high on him, and I think he can make a name for himself.
All right, Derek.
I'm going to go with Will Nixon. I think he's kind of made a name for himself slightly in the last couple of years. He's kind of made a name for himself. Just hasn't broke through, and I think this is a good year for him to do it.
All right, Scott.
I actually had 2. One is a backup in case somebody said it, but I had Latrell Neville as the guy that I'm thinking as well. And then I had Will Nixon as a backup in case nobody said him. So it was like, all right, well, but I'm going to go with Latrell Neville. I like Tyler said, tall dude. And I'm curious to see what Mickey Joseph can do with that guy.
Did anybody have Cooper Jewett on their?
I almost picked him just for comedy.
Oh God, for comedy?
For comedy. Man. I mean, he's an athlete, but I don't know what
I had him and Zach Winemaster because I'm a Winemaster guy, but it don't matter what that name is.
Well, I'm going to go with Logan Smothers.
Really?
Everybody's talking about Thompson and Purdy and the transfers and whatnot. I'm going to go with Logan Smothers. I think he's going to make some people wonder, well, why the hell wasn't he playing more last year? So that's my under the radar guy is Logan Smothers, the guy that everybody thinks is going to transfer after spring. Question 5, who's the under the radar guy? Or no, we're on 6. My bad. I can't count. Who is the under radar guy that will get the most buzz on defense this spring? Go ahead, Gio.
Under the radar on defense?
Yep.
I think it's pretty settled who's going to start. I don't really have him on the radar on D. Unless it's just a corner, one of the corners coming in. They could just be depth or play nickel. But the starters are pretty much cemented on defense. Maybe one of the safeties coming in, possible. Singleton,
maybe Javier Morton, somebody like that.
Maybe at safety.
I think Morton could play both, cornerback or safety. Mm-hmm. So, Justin, what do you think?
All right. So for on defense, the guy that's going to get the most buzz, under the radar guy that's going to get most buzz, is going to be Jalen Weaver. That dude last year, he came in with all that size last year. 6'8", 320 pounds, big body dude. Everybody loved him. I think this spring, everybody is going to continue that love affair that they have with Jalen Weaver, plugging all those holes. And I think he's going to be the guy. Everyone's going to love him and want to see him in the fall, but they're not.
Yeah, I hear you, Tyler.
I'm gonna go with Noah Pola-Gates. Noah Pola-Gates. Right now, I think you brought in a lot of safeties. I think a lot of people presume whether it be a Tommy Hill moving over, Singleton. I think people think he could start. Isaac Gifford. I think that people have kind of written off Noah Pola-Gates as a guy that was a high recruit that's not panning out. I don't really think he's going to compete for a starting spot. I think he might be the guy by the end of camp. I'm really high on what he's going to do. Yeah, I think he is kind of that guy that people have written off that's going to make a name for himself this camp.
All right, Derek.
I went with Nash Huntmacher. I think he's probably going to be your third starter on the defensive line. I think he'll do a good job. He got some playing time last year, but he was I don't know. I just went with him, I guess.
All right, Scott.
I actually went with a guy who didn't really stand out all that much last season, but I went with Randolph Kapai. Reason being is because he was a pretty highly touted recruit, top 250 when he was recruited for the class of 2021. And I don't know. I just think that he's gonna take a step in the right direction this season.
All righty. My under the radar guy on defense this spring is going to be, oh crap, what's his name now? I just thought of him and it went away. The dude with all the long hair. Doggone it.
That doesn't narrow it down there, Ken.
Clements.
Complete. Eteva Malga Clements.
Yes.
Outside line or inside linebacker. When he came in late in the game against Buffalo, and he was kind of all over the field. You knew it. We were clear up at the top, and you knew who he was because all that hair was flying around behind him, and he went at 150 miles an hour. I think you're going to hear something from him this year. So Eteva Malga Clements is my guy. And question number 7, which has absolutely effing nothing to do with football. Do you think Fred Hoiberg will return for a 4th season? I'm going to answer first and say, God almighty, please, no. No. Go ahead, Gio.
I hope not, but I read that it's a $18.7 million buyout, so I don't think Nebraska basketball should pay that. It's basketball. It's not worth it.
He's probably going to end up
getting a bad hire, stick with it for a few years, maybe reach a lower buyout, but they could use that money elsewhere. I wouldn't want to see that kind of buyout for basketball.
Yeah. Justin?
No, he should not be allowed to come back to ruin this program any farther. And I'm going to stop there so I can queue up the question for these remaining 3 people to ask the questions like, well, who are we going to get? Because I know it's coming.
Mark Turgeon. But go ahead, Tyler.
I think he should be brought back.
Because who are we going to get?
It's not even that. Nebraska basketball is probably our second sport, third sport maybe after volleyball. I'm not a fire the coach guy. I just don't.
Yeah, but you don't even watch basketball because they suck so bad. So why would they not bring in a good coach?
That'd be great. Who are they gonna get?
See, but you're not watching basketball because they're so bad under Hoiberg.
Know what? I hear Coach K is on the market. So maybe we'll bring him in.
Well, I'll tell you, I do watch the games, and I will tell you, I do think he should probably be brought back because if they're going to give Frost a 5th year, they ought just give him an extra year. I think he needs to revamp some stuff and change some shit up. But yeah, I think he should get another shot.
Scott.
I've been watching all the games this year, and it's been painful. I think I think he should stay just simply because of the buyout, like Giovanni pointed out. Just let him stay one more year. We've got a lot of talent, but geez, he's clearly an an NBA mind that hasn't translated to college ball.
He got
aside
fired
from
in the NBA.
Yeah,
I know. This is the worst athletic director that Nebraska's ever had in their life. He hired the 2 worst coaches ever.
The coaches that everybody wanted.
That's his problem. He didn't do his due diligence. He let the fans decide who those coaches were.
Well,
He
it
sent
worked
out a
out pretty
Twitter
well with
poll
Will Bolt.
and let the Twitter
Yeah.
poll decide who those guys were going to be. And we
Yeah,
got
who would have
these
figured Will
two
Bolt
guys.
would have been the best hire he made? Who would have figured?
It was just the most painful thing watching.
He had
Yeah.
one Twitter poll
Stomped
out
by
of 3 that
Northwestern.
came out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, doggone it. You know what? We just actually went longer than we did last month, and we only had 3 topics. How the blazes did we do that? Well, we did. So